Alright, we're back in Houdini now. I'm gonna go for File, and then I can maybe create a new project. And path can be where my Maya project is. I'm gonna give it a name. Chapo of word of Z incarnate word and steps. I'm gonna actually cheat it. I'm gonna delete that and just put it in the Maya project. And so it doesn't, yeah, it should allow me to do that. I'm gonna give it a name. Maybe actually go ahead and change that back to just the chap of the incarnate word and use that Maya project. Maybe I can combine those two projects together. Let's see. Alright, cool. So now I'm gonna go to File and import a film box FBX and load underneath. As you can see, it's combining Maya project with Houdini project. So it's both a Maya project and a Houdini project. So I can share all the things together in this one big folder. I'm gonna go ahead and choose the asset folder, which is the Maya folder here. I'm gonna go for the camera track to Houdini and accept. And then if you're using newer version or any version, right, just go for the second button here. And it's gonna give me some warning about those material. The material was actually unknown material, so of course it doesn't understand that. So just hit OK, and that's gonna give me the geometry and also the camera right there. Right, this camera here. So if you go inside of this subnetwork called camera track to Houdini FBX, you can see the 3 geometry and the camera, and there is a material network with other material here, which is a weird material right now. We can, but the good thing is we can actually swap those material now if we wanted to. So I guess it's actually better to have those things here anyways. Alright, so for now we're not dealing with material yet. Let's actually do some testing of if to see if our object actually works. So here I'm gonna go change my camera to the camera render underneath the camera track to Houdini FBX. Right, that's gonna bring me to the view of the camera. Check on the locker so that we're following it. Okay, I'm also gonna change the background to the image sequence. To do so, I actually need to go back to the image. And you should have a comp one. If you don't, just create a image network here. Double click inside and create a file. And then I'm gonna click on that load file again. I'm gonna go for my job and then movies, stabilize, and accept. That's gonna allow me to import that image sequence. If yours is not one but a bunch of the separate frames, you can check on the show sequence as one entry. Grab that and accept again. Okay, now back to the viewport. I'm gonna click the D button and go to background and change the camera file background file to copy image, and click on the load and then select the stabilized F for JPEG, which is this guy here. And that's going to allow it to just you know, play it. Okay, I think that one was just lagging. Yeah, everything should be matching properly. Alright, now I'm also gonna go to the render view and take a look at that render. You can see the render doesn't really have the background. The reason for that is because first of all, we don't really need that, and the second thing is, if you want that, you can go ahead and look for the object and the FBX and camera render and go to the view and change the background image to actually, again, our image sequence, this guy here. And that's going to allow the render of the background if you wanted to use that as reference. Okay, cool. You can also multiply the alpha to take a look at the final result if you wanted to see. It's not actually use that as the background. It's showing you, but the alpha doesn't really include that, so it's actually okay. I'm gonna go back to the scene view and just get out of this camera here, and I'm gonna go to maybe, let me select this guy, space G to go there, and go to the right side of this camera, sorry, the left side of the camera, because that's where the lighting is, and holding down Control and click on the distant light. That's going to create a light there. I'm going to change that back to perspective. Okay, so I have a distance light to mimic the sunlight, and let me also Control click on environment light to create a environment light, and this environment light will be weaker, like 0.2 or so. Some very basic lighting. And then I can go back to the render view and change the camera to the camera render and do a render. As you can see, I'm basically having similar lighting. Okay, cool. So I'm gonna go ahead and set up some quick render here just to test if my matching is proper. So here underneath the outs, I'm gonna grab that mantra IPR, which is created when you do IPR render, and I'm gonna change the camera to the camera render the frame range. I have only 115, so change this guy to 115. Okay, that's gonna update it here too, and also the position will be underneath. I think I can put it into the render folder of the job render. I'm gonna call this test render dot $f dot xr and accept. It's gonna give me the xr file. Alright, and then render to disk. It's gonna go through the rendering process. Because we don't have much lighting and a very simple model, we should be able to go through this render real quick. So I'm gonna stop this tutorial now. In the next one, we're gonna take a look at the result and try to composite it on top of our original image and see if they fit together nicely. Okay, see you next time.